Hey guys, Mrs. Bryant. Welcome back to Flip Video. We are going to be doing Solving Systems by Substitution Part 2. If you'll remember from yesterday, we had to make sure that all of our equations were in slope-intercept form. Today that changes and you'll be able to substitute anything in order to solve and find a solution to your system. So before we get started, make sure you have the notes out from class yesterday or today, I apologize, and be ready to take notes. So guess the dimensions. A rectangle has a perimeter of 16 inches. Its length is 3 times its width. So what are the dimensions? Well, let y represent the length and let x represent the width. The first statement gives us the first equation. 2 lengths, or 2 y's, plus 2 x's equals 16. And then the second sentence gives us the second equation. And that is y, or length, equals 3x, or 3 times the width. Using that knowledge, we can solve the system. So a rectangle has a perimeter of 16 inches. And its length is 3 times its width. What are the dimensions? So here's our system. To solve this system of equations, we will use the substitution method. Since we know the length, or y, is 3 times the width, we can substitute 3x in place of y in the first equation and solve for x. You'll notice that yesterday, or today when we were working in class, if you were given this, I told you to make sure it was in slope-intercept form. Today, you don't have to make sure of that anymore. If you are given an equation that looks like this, but you're given an equation that has one variable equals another variable, you can put that in for where it matches. And that's what we did down here. 2y plus 2x equals 16. But notice what I plugged in for this y. Y equals 3x, so I know that I can interchange those however many times I want. So 2 times 3x plus 2x equals 16. Now, it's going to want us to solve it with algebra tiles, and that's fine if you want to. I want to skip that part. But if you want to, I'll explain it. So we have 2y plus 2x equals 16. But I substituted 3x for each y. So I have one y here, which is 3x, and one y here, which is 3x. And then I have the 2x from before. So actually I have 8x is equal to 16, and so each x is equal to 2. Algebraically, if you look over here, 2 times 3x is 6x plus 2x equals 16. Combine these and you get 8x equals 16. You know you need to divide by 8, so we have a variable by itself. So x equals 2. So let's find the value of y since we know that x equals 2. We can model either original equation, but y equals 3x is simpler. So we know that x equals 2, so if I had, you replace each x with 2 individual units, so y would equal 6. Algebraically, we would stick in the 2 where the x is, like we did today in class, and you get y equals 3 times 2, so y equals 6. And I know this is kind of abstract right now in the video. I'd rather do it algebraically. So now you can check. We said that y equals 6 and x equals 2. So 2 times y plus 2 times x equals 16. 12 plus 4 is 16, so it works. And then if you plug it down here, 6 equals 3 times 2, and that works. So, is the perimeter 16 inches? Is the length 3 times the width? If the answer is yes to both, we have found the dimension. So, is the perimeter 16 inches? Yes. And is the length 3 times its width? Yes. So, solve the system with substitution. Be sure to check your solution. All right, here we go with the nitty-gritty, so get ready. Can I set these equal to each other? No, but I know that y equals 2x, so could I plug that in for this y? And that's a yes. So I have 7x minus 2x equals 15. So you're going to combine. So I have 5x equals 15. Divide by 5, divide by 5, x equals 3. Now I'm going to take this and plug it into my original equation. Y equals 6. So my solution is 3 comma 6. And we can pull this over and check. And we have both of those answers. This is a lot easier. You're not having to make sure that each equation is in slope-intercept form. Much, much easier. Solve this system with substitution. Be sure to check your solution. Well, here we go. I know that I can plug this in where I have a y because it says y equals. If it said y equals 4, we would plug a 4 in there. But it doesn't. It has a 2x, so we're going to plug in that there. 4x minus 2 times 2x equals 16. 4x minus 4x equals 16. Hold on just a second, guys. So I have 0 equals 16. This is not true. So what do I know? No solutions. And because it's no solutions, what do we know about this graph? It is parallel lines.
Ms. Cordia, can you please come to the AP office? Ms. Cordia, can you
So we can check that. This statement is false. There is no solution. What must be true about the graph? It's parallel lines. Solve the system with substitution. Be sure to check your solution. I have one that has x equals 2 minus y. I know that I can substitute this for this x, right? So I have 3 times 2 minus y plus 2y equals 36. Before I can do anything, I have to do the distributive property. So 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times negative y is negative 3y plus 2y equals 36. I have some of y'all trying to plus 3 here, plus 3 here. You'll notice that these are on both same side of this equal sign, so all you have to do is combine like terms. So 6, negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1y equals 36. So I'm going to plus or minus 6 here, minus 6 here. I'm left with negative 1y equals 30. Divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1. So y equals negative 30. Now I can take this and plug it in to my equation to find my x. X equals 2 minus a negative 30. Well, we know that two negatives together become a positive, so I have x equals 32. Now, my solution, I know that I have to have an x first in my ordered pair, so that's where the 32 comes from. Even though we found this one first, this y first, 32 will always come first because it's in the x spot, and then negative 30 for my y, and we can check our answer. And we see that we are correct. Solve the system with substitution. Be sure to check your solution. Again, we know that y equals this, so I can plug it in where there's a y. So 2x minus 3 times 3x minus 4 equals negative 9. And now we just do our distributive property. 2x minus 9x, and then negative 3 times negative 4 is plus 12 equals negative 9. So, because this and this are on the same side of this equal sign, I can combine them. So I have negative 7x plus 12 equals negative 9. Minus 12 minus 12. I have negative 7x equals negative 21. Divide by negative 7, divide by negative 7, x equals 3. Now that I know what x is, I can come up here and plug it in for my y equation. So y equals 3 times 3 minus 4. Well, 3 times 3 is 9 minus 4. So my y equals 5. So my solution is 3, 5. And we can pull this tab out and make sure that we are correct, and we are. Another example. Solve the system with substitution. Be sure to check your solution. You will need to solve for x or y in the second equation. So before we can do anything, I need to make sure that this says x or y, right? Equals. I'm going to go ahead and just move my x, minus x, minus x. So it's y equals negative x minus 5. But now that I have a y equals, I know that I can plug this in that y. So 5x minus 3 times negative x minus 5 equals negative 17. Do your distributive property, 5x plus 3x, because two negatives make a positive, plus 15 equals negative 17. I know that I combine the 5 and 3 because they are on the same side of the equal sign, so I have 8x plus 15 equals negative 17. So minus 15 minus 15, and you get 8x equals,
Alicia, please come to the front desk. Alicia,
because these are both negative, you add them together. 32, negative 32, divide by 8, divide by 8, x equals negative 4. Now that I have x, I can stick it back in this original equation. Y equals negative times negative 4 minus 5. These become a positive, so y equals a negative 1. So my solution is negative 4 comma negative 1. We can pull this tab out and check it, and we will see that we are correct. When they're solving for the opposite, they went ahead and used a different equation. It does not matter which equation you use. You'll get the same answer both times. The sum of two numbers is 74. Their larger number is 16 more than the smaller number. What are the two numbers? So x is going to equal the small number. Y is going to equal large. So let's come up with our equations. The sum of two numbers is 74. So x plus y equals 74. The larger number, so y, is 16 more than the smaller number. So x plus 16. Now that you have your system, you could solve, and that's going to be part of what you're doing on your own tonight. Let's go to the next one, and I'll help you come up with your system. The length of a rectangle is twice the width. The perimeter is 190 centimeters. Find the dimension of the rectangle. Well, you know that 2 lengths plus 2 widths equals 190. And it says the length, so L equals 5 more than twice the width. So 2W plus 5. So now that you have your system, you can solve. And then find the dimensions of the rectangle. You'll be able to do that. So let's summarize. What do you look for when graphing is best? When y is isolated in both equations. When substitution is the best. When one equation has a variable isolated. When any term has a coefficient of 1. Now we know 3 different types of solving linear equations, or systems of linear equations. Make sure you do the 2 problems, or finish the 2 problems that I started for you, the 2 word problems, and have those ready in class on Wednesday. For my 4th and 6th period, I will not be in class tomorrow, so make sure you are doing what the sub asked you to do. If there's any questions, please leave them below in the comments, or if you had any problems with what we did in class today and you had to take it home and you have questions, make sure you leave those in the comments as well. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow or on Wednesday. Have a good night, guys.